Hello, everyone. As we all know, in the drawings of mechanical processings, the contours of all the parts are pieced together using straight lines and arcs. Today, we'll learn the instructions of arcs interpolation to see how the CNC milling machine programs arcs. Selection of machining plane. To perform circular arc instruction operations on machining centers and CNC milling machines, it is necessary to first use the right-handed Cartesian coordinate system to determine the machining surface. Among them, G17 is the processing surface XY and the Z-axis is vertical. CNC milling machines generally default to machining this surface. G18 is the processing surface ZX, and the Y-axis is vertical. G19 is the processing surface YZ, and the X-axis is vertical. Selection of instruction. There are two formats for the circular interpolation instruction. The first is by end radius. Let's see the detailed form. R is the radius of the circle. In the picture, the central angle is assumed as theta, and when 0 degrees is less than or equal to theta is less than or equal to 180 degrees. And R is positive. The corresponding arc is minor. When 180 degrees is less than theta is less than 360 degrees. And R is negative. The corresponding arc is major. F indicates feed rate. This programming method cannot process the entire circle. The second is by end circle center. I, J, K, respectively refer to the coordinate difference between the circle center on axis of X, Y, and Z, and the start point of the arc. If one of them is 0, it can be ignored. I is the coordinate x of the circle center minus the coordinate x of the starting point of the arc. J is the coordinate y of the circle center minus the coordinate y of the starting point of the arc. K is the coordinate z of the circle center minus the coordinate z of the starting point of the arc. Determining clockwise and counterclockwise arcs. First, determine the plane on which this arc is located, and then use the Cartesian coordinate system with the right hand to determine the axis perpendicular to the plane along the axis vertical to the surface of the arc to be processed. Judge from the positive direction to negative direction. When cutting clockwise, use G02. When cutting counterclockwise, use G03, vice versa. In Figure 3, the starting point of the arc is point A, and the end is point B. There exist 3 arcs between A and B, and the radius of the arc is 20 millimeters. The programming methods are respectively Arc 1, G03 x20, Y0R2 0, F1 0 0. Programming for counterclockwise milling of minor arcs. Arc 2, G02 x20, Y0R2 0, F1 0 0. Programming for clockwise milling of minor arcs. Arc 3, G02 x20, Y0R-20, F1 0 0. Programming for clockwise milling of major arcs. cutting instruction of arc in G02 or G03. Note that, first, generally, after CNC machine tool is started, G17 surface is set, so the arc will be milled on surface XY, and instruction G17 can be ignored. Second, when I, J, and R appear at the same time in one segment, R is prior, and I and J are invalid. Third, when one of I, J, and K is 0, it can be ignored. Fourth, when the indication of the end of X, Y, and Z is ignored, the start and end is the same point, and the entire circle is cut. Fifth, if the radius method is used, the cutter won't move. Sixth, when the endpoint coordinates do not intersect with the specified radius value at the same point, the alert will occur. Seventh, when the line cutting is followed by arc cutting, the instruction G must be altered to G02 or G03. And if the line cutter starts again, the instruction must be altered back to G01. These points are easy for us to ignore. Eighth, when using the instruction G01, G02, and G03, the spindle should be directed to rotate first, together with the specification of feed rate F. Ninth, programming of the entire circle. It can only be completed by using the endpoint circle center method. This is the end of the instruction of circular interpolation. Do you understand?